If you're planning to retire or recently retire, this video is for you. My name is AB Ridgeway. I'm the host of the Ridgeway Report. In today's video, we're going to discuss if you're still investing the way you did when you were 40, it can severely hurt you in your 60s. The first thing we need to understand is that retirement accounts were meant for savings. We have been programmed since we first started to save. Put money into our retirement account. We need to save money. At one point, we're going to need it. Save, 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 save. But now that you're at that point, you have to make that shift from saving to spending. And you've heard all the horror stories. I took my money out of my 401k and taxes hit me. The government took half my money. Those stories are true. But what they don't tell you about those stories, when you're working, downturns are annoying in the market to say the least. But the great thing about the markets, when they're downturned when you're 20, by the time that you're 60, you forgot about all the downturns. Many of us went through the recession of 2020. It only lasted 3 months, but we still went through it. Many of us have long forgotten what happened in 2008 and even in the 2000s. Now we have to focus on today. And what's happening today, we may not think about 10 and 15, 20 years from now. When you are still working, it doesn't really matter. But if you're retired, that's when you really feel those market turns. And think about it. Not only when the market gets down, but now you're taking out withdrawals, and that can be very scary. These downturns can permanently damage a plan. So if you haven't touched your 401k or even looked at your 401k since you were 40, today may be the day you need to take a look at it before it's too late. Because as we approach retirement, we have to make the shift once again from saving to spending. How are we going to draw down the retirement so it lasts us not just 5 years, but 10, 15, and 20 years down the line? People are living longer. If you don't make a decision about your retirement or you withdraw too quickly, it can once again permanently damage your plan. And don't confuse conservative with safe, because there is a thing called inflation risk that is almost as detrimental as a market correction. Inflation is rising. The cost of goods are rising. If you just keep it in there because it's quote unquote safe, you may not be getting the return you need to successfully have the retirement that you deserve. Every year, inflation is going to eat at your returns unless you invest properly. Safety is having a plan that has adequate cash flow, adequate growth for the lifestyle that you want, not just because you're guaranteed. A savings account is guaranteed, but look at the returns that you're getting. Look at your statement. 1 penny, 10 cents, 20 cents. Is that really enough to survive in retirement? You may be sitting right now with $50,000, $100,000 in the bank and you feel safe. You feel conservative. But once again, are you getting the returns that you need in order to live the lifestyle that you want? It can be frustrating looking at your statement. I have $100,000 with this bank and all they can offer me is a certificate of deposit, a CD for a couple of percentage points. That's not going to be enough. And I have to tie the money up. I can't even get to it without having a penalty. That's not going to be good enough, and you know it. That's why we have to build a portfolio that fits your lifestyle. That means diversification. That means rebalancing. That means we understand the rules and that we are very clear on the purpose for each piece of money. The way you spend your retirement money is not the same way you spend your savings, not the same way you spend your checking or your emergency fund, or maybe even your brokerage money. Every bucket of money has a different way of how you're going to withdraw, even your Social Security. There are going to be many sources of income that you're going to have to navigate, and you're going to have to make sure you do it tax efficiently. No one wants to pay more taxes than they have to. That is why timing is so important. When you withdraw from these accounts, is just as important as how much you withdraw from these accounts. There are a lot of rules and penalties surrounding around time. 55 years old, 59 and a half, RMD ages. There are many criteria that you need to reach in order to avoid penalties. Making a transaction too soon or on a whim will cause you to lose more money. You don't want to pay 37% of your $2 million 401k because you put it into a savings account. You don't want to pay an early 10% penalty because you were 59 and not 59 and a half. 6 months can cost you 10%, almost $200,000 of a $2 million 401k. One simple transaction can wipe out years of income. That leads me to my third point, risk tolerance. There's many ways to look at risk tolerance, and it's going to be different for each person. Someone may be able to stomach standard deviations of 5, 6, 10%. Some may not be able to stomach even 1 or 2%. There are two concepts I want you to understand: risk tolerance and risk capacity. Just because you have the risk capacity, meaning the money to withstand the market fluctuations, doesn't mean you have the risk tolerance, meaning you don't have the stomach for it. You can't take the ups and downs. We have to balance both of them. Because if you don't have the risk capacity, meaning you don't have the funds, you may have the risk tolerance. I'm ready to take risks. I can do it. But you may not have the risk capacity. You may not have the money. You have to have both. Many financial advisors want to talk about what's conservative, what's moderate, what's aggressive, but they forget to ask you, what is your risk capacity for these risk tolerances that they're putting you into? And brothers and sisters, the risk tolerance and the risk capacity that you had at 40 is not the same risk tolerance and risk capacity that you're going to have at 60. You have to adjust your investments as you grow, meaning that you may be more aggressive in your retirement account and not even know it. If you're planning to retire and there's a market correction, you could lose a large portion of your retirement right before you retire. You don't want that to happen to you. Unfortunately, when retirement starts, people start guessing. People pull out money because of comfort. They pull out money because of headlines they see in the news. They pull out because of whatever their neighbor is doing. Maybe they have a new investment that just popped up on their screen. But guessing is not a strategy. The solution is not to stop living. The solution is to create a structure, to create plan so you can have the financial freedom that you've always wanted. Financial freedom is not a number. It's not a 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. Financial freedom is a multiplier. If all you need to survive is $100,000 and you have $500,000, that's a 5-time multiple. That creates financial freedom. If you have $1 million, that is a 10-time multiple. So the idea to create financial freedom, you have to understand where your lifestyle is and how many multiples of income above that can you create. And that is where you're going to find your freedom. But if you don't know your number, you'll never get there. That's why having a plan is going to prepare you for those future expenses that you're going to experience in retirement, taking your 401k, rolling into an IRA so you can have the money in your hands and make the distributions that are right for you. The goal of retirement is not perfection, it's confidence. With a plan, you will get the confidence you need to make the choices about your financial life. You've worked long and hard, 20 plus years. Don't throw it all away in one transaction. What I like to say is don't tip the government. If you need help, these are your next steps. Schedule a consultation with me. I'll do a 401k review. I will help you move your 401k over into an individual retirement account to help you reduce some of your taxes if that is a good option for you. Schedule a consultation. We'll discuss your retirement, some things you need to consider, and prepare you to retire and stay retired. Well, that's it for me. My name is A.B. Ridgeway. This has been another Ridgeway Report.